Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS. Let's get to the news now, Browns fans, buckle up, because what I'm about to tell you is shaking the foundation of the AFC North. We all know Cleveland has been on a roller coaster lately, trying to find that perfect mix of talent, experience, and youth to push them over the edge, back into serious playoff contention, and perhaps, more ambitiously, a Super Bowl run. But as we head into the 2024 season, there's a new development that could seriously reshape the Browns' roster and their strategic approach, not just for this year, but for the foreseeable future. And it centers around a name that's been floating in the NFL rumor mill quite a bit lately: Diontae Johnson. You see, Johnson, who signed with Cleveland this offseason, arrived with hopes of reviving his career after a series of moves through the league: Carolina Panthers, Baltimore Ravens, Houston Texans, and back to Baltimore again. But folks, the reality right now is a bit more complicated. Reports are indicating that Johnson might find himself on the roster bubble before the 2025 season even begins. That's right. Despite signing a contract to be part of the Browns' plans, he's not exactly been impressing coaches during joint practices, especially with the Philadelphia Eagles, and has dropped several passes during the preseason. If you've been watching the Browns camp, you've seen how players like Cadden Davis have stepped up and been putting on a show, making it even harder for Johnson to hold onto his spot. This situation isn't coming out of nowhere. It's part of a larger story that involves the Browns trying to rebuild their receiving core, emphasizing young, energetic talent that could be the foundation for their future. And honestly, looking at Johnson's recent history, it's easy to understand why some might think Cleveland is already prepared to move on. After all, he's been through multiple teams, and his production in recent seasons has been inconsistent at best. The Browns, who have tried to bring out the best in their players, despite the off-field issues that sometimes cloud the team's atmosphere, are clearly focused on building around younger guys, with Deshaun Watson still leading the charge, but also with rising stars like Isaiah Bond making waves. The interesting part here is that Cleveland's front office might be considering cutting ties with Johnson altogether. The rationale is simple: they want to focus on their rising talents and not keep a player who, at this point, seems more like a liability than an asset. Especially when you have other options like Cadden Davis, who has been a standout during the preseason. The team's strategy appears to be shifting toward investing in players who show promise and consistency, rather than sticking with someone who's been struggling to make an impact. And let's be honest, Johnson's contract value in the future isn't looking very promising unless he has a breakout season that turns heads. But here's where it gets even more interesting. As Browns fans, we have to look beyond Cleveland and see what's happening elsewhere in the league. Because Diontae Johnson's name keeps popping up in rumors about potential landing spots, and some of those are pretty intriguing. Teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, who are always on the lookout for veteran help, especially when Rashee Rice faces a long suspension, could see Johnson as a valuable piece. Patrick Mahomes, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, could definitely use a reliable deep threat, and Johnson, if he gets the right opportunities, might just be that guy. He's not going to need to be exceptional, just enough to get open and stretch the field. That's something he's been capable of in the past, and with Mahomes' ability to find receivers in tight spots, Johnson could resurrect his career in Kansas City. But let's not forget the Dallas Cowboys. They are always looking for low-risk, high-reward moves, especially at the receiver position. After losing Jonathan Mingo, they might be in the market for a veteran who can come in and contribute immediately. CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, and Jalen Tolbert are already there, but adding a guy like Johnson could give them some depth and versatility. The Cowboys have shown in the past that they're willing to take chances on players like him, who might not have been the most productive lately but still have potential. And with a short-term view, Johnson could fit into their system until Mingo is ready to return in 2025. Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about the New Orleans Saints. They've been building a pretty exciting young receiving group with Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. But they also signed veteran Brandon Cooks, which indicates they're trying to strike a balance between youth and experience. Johnson, who's getting up there in age, could be a nice complement to Cooks, especially in situations where they need a reliable route runner who can get open in critical moments. Think about the kind of cross routes and situational plays that could benefit from a veteran presence who's experienced enough to make a difference when it matters most. The Saints are definitely a team that could consider adding Johnson if the opportunity arises. And then, there's the Los Angeles Chargers. They're in a phase of rebuilding their offense, trying to create a formidable arsenal around Justin Herbert. With options like Ladd McConkey, Andre Lambert-Smith, Tree Harris, and Keenan Allen, they're definitely stacking up talent. But the Chargers have also been known to bring in veteran pieces to stabilize their young core. Quentin Johnston and Jalen Reagor are on the brink of being cut, and adding Johnson could be a smart move to bolster their receiver group for the upcoming season. If they decide to take a shot on him, it wouldn't be surprising. Johnson's experience and size could help them in situational plays, especially in third-down conversions or red zone situations. So, Browns fans, you can see how this story isn't just about Cleveland. It's about a player whose future is uncertain, but who could still have a lot to offer in the right system. The Browns are clearly thinking about their long-term prospects, and that might mean saying goodbye to Johnson sooner rather than later. But in the bigger picture, this situation reflects the constant churn and strategic shifts that define the NFL. Teams are always looking for that edge, that veteran who can make a difference, or that young talent ready to explode. And Johnson, despite his recent struggles, remains a name to watch. His career has been a roller coaster, but he's still only getting older, and if he finds the right fit, he could still turn things around. And this whole scenario speaks to the bigger picture of the NFL this season. The Browns, with their young core and aspirations, are trying to build a team that can contend for the Super Bowl. But they're also aware that every move counts, and sometimes, that means making tough decisions about players who might not fit their future plans. The competition is fierce, and every team in the league is doing the same. It's a constant chess match, trying to find the right pieces to complete the puzzle. Cleveland has shown in recent years that they're not afraid to make bold moves, and this offseason might just be another chapter in their ongoing quest for greatness. In conclusion, Browns fans, what do you think about this situation? Are you hoping Johnson sticks around, or do you agree that Cleveland might be better off moving on? Will he find a new team that unleashes his potential, or is his NFL journey heading toward a crossroads? Whatever your thoughts, I want to hear from you. Drop your comments below, tell us what you think about the future of Diontae Johnson and Cleveland's receiver core. Remember, this is just the beginning. There's so much more to come in the NFL, and I'll be right here with you, breaking down every move, every update, and every game. So stay tuned, Browns fans, because the season is almost here and the stakes have never been higher. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news.